This was a big one for me. I have lived a life of continuously being hard on myself, I would call it. But honestly, what I was doing was shaming myself to my very core. I see people doing this all of the time, and it's getting progressively worse. I mean, honestly, there is nothing on God's green earth that we are not shaming ourselves for at this time. You're either too skinny, too fat, single, married, poor, rich, failing, successful. Like, you honestly, regardless, somebody is going to shame you. And the reason why people are feeling shamed all the time is because they are disconnected with who they truly are, what their actual values are, what their true desires are, and in the process, living their life out of integrity by the standards of everybody else. We've come from an upbringing of continuously comparing ourselves to everybody else to see, where we are in the game. And in the process, we're not even playing our own game anymore. We're playing everybody else's game. I got up in the shame game, and you know what I've realized? Is that the shame game is a really convenient excuse for us to live in fear and not show up for our greatest potential. And you need to start realizing as well that shame is an internal thing. People can say whatever the fuck they want to, but they cannot make you feel shame or feel shamed. That's on us. That's all inside. When you finally take the time to do some deep soul searching and realize that, honey, this is your life, nobody else's. And you get to have your own experience on your own terms. And you stop comparing yourself to everybody else. And you stop looking around at everybody else, at what supposedly makes them happy when you never have a front row seat on what's going on inside. And so really, you're just making judgments based on what people want you to see. Until you figure out what's going on in here, you're going to be terrified of life. Because it feels like you're always on the defensive. You're always chasing something and you're not even sure anymore why you're chasing it because it doesn't bring you joy. And in the meantime, you are missing out on all the amazing things that could light your soul on fire. You see, if you are buying into the belief that you should always succeed, then you are still buying into the belief that it's about the outcome, it's about the result, it's about the prize, and it's not. It's about the experience. Your life is a feast of experiences, but while you are comparing yourself and shaming yourself, you are taking the joy out of that experience. And you are really missing out on everything. Shame is a convenient way of not admitting that you're afraid. It's easier just to shame ourselves than to admit that we're afraid that somebody else is going to laugh at us or think that we're not good enough or think that we didn't do enough or whatever the case might be. So, I'm just going to say, I'm so ashamed of myself. I feel like shit about myself. Don't do that to yourself, honey. It's really not worth it anymore. Life is too precious. And I know that especially as high-achieving women, damn, we are really good at shaming ourselves. But let that shit go. Because who the actual fuck cares what everybody else is thinking about you and saying about you and whatever. It's none of our business. Because you know what? Most people make up what they think and feel about you anyway, regardless of what you do. Very few people take the time to get to know you well enough to understand where you are even coming from or what is important to you. But then again, are you taking the time to figure that out for yourself? Because if you're not, if you're feeling that you're constantly rushed and overwhelmed and exhausted, it's because you are not living your true life and your actual desires. Because when you do, that is when life feels like it really does flow. Does it mean that we never struggle and we never like sit down and go, why can't I figure this shit out? Of course not. That is part of the fun of the life experience, by the way, is learning the new things and screwing it up repeatedly. I mean, thank fuck that I have a good sense of humor about myself and I don't mind looking like a fool a lot of the time. Who the fuck actually cares? Because, you know what, everybody is so wrapped up in their lives, by tomorrow they're already looking for somebody else to call a fool. Their lives go on, and so does mine. But I get to wake up every single morning, and before even opening my eyes, I'm just like, oh my God, I get to live another day. Holy shit. And you know what, if it lights you up to make $1 billion, then make $1 billion. But if it doesn't, and you are using the new criteria of, you know, you have to be a billionaire in order for you to prove your worth as a reason to struggle in your life and never enjoy it, if you're using that as the criteria for shaming yourself of, oh my God, I'm not good at what I do and I'm not good enough and whatever the case might be, when in fact it doesn't matter to you, stop it. Just stop it. You need to start getting clear on your values and your desires. You need to start getting very clear on who you want to be, what brings you immense joy and satisfaction, and let go of all the preconceived ideas of what that has to look like in order for you to be successful. When else have you even defined success for yourself? And does your definition of success make you feel good? Or does it feel like this heavy weight that's being put on you? Like every time you think of that is what success means, it's like, oh my God. Then what's that about? Then it's no wonder that you keep self-sabotaging. Because if there's a heaviness to the success, you won't want to be successful. And stop shaming yourself for your version of success.